Now, at the age of 5, Jodee Mundy found herself lost on a shopping trip and only then realised that the rest of her family was deaf. As a child, she says she didn't see their disability, only their love and their protection.
Now she's bringing her experience as the only hearing person in a deaf family to life in a stage production that's titled Personal. She joins us in the studio along with Auslan interpreter Julie Judd. A very warm welcome and good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am absolutely fascinated by this. Can you describe to us the moment you realised that the rest of your family was deaf?
Yes, so I was in Kmart and the lady had just made an announcement and I'd been waiting and suddenly my mum appeared and she signed to me, "Where have you been?" And I said, "Well, the lady made an announcement." And she said to me, "I'm deaf." And I didn't realise, because I knew what deaf meant, but I didn't know that meant she could not hear. And they're two very different things to... I didn't see what they could not do. I could only see what they do.
But that's really powerful, because that speaks to what we were just saying earlier about how you didn't see or feel their deafness. It was just like any other family. That love and protection was all you knew.
That's right. And we are like any other family. We just use Auslan at home. However, the privileges or what I can access is not what they can. So that was a big shock as a young child. And I think this is why I'm making my show, to bring that to resolution.
And how do you bring those experiences, those often very personal experiences, Jodee, to the stage? I mean, anecdotes, stories, how are you doing it?
Yeah, so this show is through storytelling, it's through multimedia. There's films like Super 8 footage, there's archives, a school documentary that was made about me. My family are in it through film, and essentially there's creative captioning, so it's all created into the work. And there's also a virtual interpreter, so there's myself interpreting me through a kind of like a hologram illusion.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What did your family say about you sharing this story?
My family have made the work with me. It's been in collaboration for 7 years, so they're with me every step of the way. We know that this is an important story. It's not just our story. There are thousands and thousands of people who hear whose native language is Auslan. And so
which is yours as well. In fact, you had to go to a speech therapist, didn't you, to learn how to speak?
I learnt from storytime tapes and from preschool, from my neighbours, but yeah, a speech therapist as well. Yeah.
How would you characterise social attitudes towards the deaf community? Did you or your family ever experience any discrimination?
Oh, sure, on a daily basis. I think from the 80s there's a stigma around sign language. People don't really know what Auslan is, but it's a national language. It's different around the world. The cultures that I come across is the deaf culture. But if you look at deaf culture, there's hearing culture, but there's also the culture of inclusion, which is what we have. The wider society is a culture of exclusion. And then there's also the concept of these two binaries, which is ability and disability. Now, it's a fluid thing. It's not just one or the other. And this is why I'm making Personal, is to highlight that and bring that across.
Yes, in a very effective way. Technology has improved the lives of so many deaf people in the deaf community. There's still a fair way to go on that front, though, isn't there?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I couldn't even call my mum when I was a kid, but now I can FaceTime her, you know. So it's extraordinary how technology it has paved the way for our community. But yeah, there's still a long way to go.
Yeah, but it's a double-edged sword, I guess. Technology is great, but what impact does it have on fabulous Auslan interpreters like Julie?
Well, it means that Julie can be seen as part of this shot. Also, it may mean that there's virtual interpreters that is the future. At the moment now, you can use a video relay service to contact a sign language interpreter to make a call for you. That's what deaf people are using at the moment. They're using their own phones to access interpreters because not everything is about captioning and English. It's important to see the language. Yeah.
Jodee, what do you hope is the one thing that people really take away from watching your play?
That we are a regular Australian family, that we have a culture and a language. We're just as diverse as anyone else, and to see beyond disability, to see our culture is about inclusion, and we really want to be a part of that national story.
And if people want to see you in action, where do they go?
Well, they can go to Arts House, which is the North Melbourne Town Hall. It opens from the 24th to the 29th of April, or the Sydney Opera House from the 9th to the 13th of May. And then there's a Victorian tour in June. I have a website, www.jodeemundy.com, for all of the information there about the tour.
Jodee Mundy and Julie Judd, thank you both so much for joining us. Best of luck with the play.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you both.